How was lunch, guys? Good? Excellent, yeah. So my name is Kelvin Park, and I'm from Metadium, a blockchain identity project. And I'll be delivering about opportunities of blockchain identity in the gaming industry. So most of you probably would have heard of blockchain projects from widely known Bitcoin and Ethereum to Engine, which is a game-specific blockchain project. So now you might be wondering, what does blockchain identity have to do with the gaming industry? And even before that, what do I even mean by blockchain identity? So why don't we start with a minute history of identity? So before the internet, the IDs were restricted to government-issued IDs, from paper-based IDs to ID cards. These government-issued IDs were used to prove one's working status, social status, age, name, and so on. Now, with the advent of the internet, the online IDs were created. They were created to log into multiple services and games. Now, as the technology developed, the online IDs also experienced some transformation. You know, as number of services grew, these silo-structured multiple IDs and passwords that were just creating hassle for the users. So they invented something called the identity provider model, or the IDP model, which allows users to log into multiple services via one ID provided by the centralized identity provider, like Facebook. See, IDP models are heaven. They're easy to implement and use. So service providers, like game publishers, they use this to easily onboard their users. And users use this as it eliminates the hassle of remembering multiple IDs and passwords. IDP features are operated by OAuth, which uses the access tokens. You see, if the user requests to sign up for a third-party application, the service provider would request for an access token. And the user gets it from the centralized IDP, and then gives it to the service provider, who then uses the access token to access the DB. So why don't we go for an example? I'll use Facebook as a centralized IDP and Tinder as our service provider, because we're all international swipers. I think I'm just going to use the mic. Anyway, so if I want to sign up for Tinder using my Facebook account, Facebook will pop up and ask if I will authorize Tinder. Now, this is the point where Tinder requests for my access token to gain access to my personal data located in the centralized IDP, in this case, Facebook. And as we press OK, Tinder gains access to my personal data located in the centralized IDP server, in this case, once again, Facebook. So at the front end, it's simple. See, although IDP models are convenient, they have security and consent issues. You know, stolen access token or hacked account credentials can lead to breach on Facebook or centralized IDP. And as all the users' data are located in the centralized IDP, it becomes the #1 target. As one successful attack can lead to a leak of millions of user data. Also, as Facebook is, or centralized IDPs are linked with millions of services, successful breach on a centralized IDP can lead to a hack of users' account in service provider services. And this is not an if statement. We all know that this easy to implement and use method of authentication has recently been exposed with data breach. And the fact that service providers or the users won't even know about the data breach up until the actual harm has been caused is just one problem. The other part is consent, or the ownership of identity. See, although it's user's identity, although it's user's personal data, if the centralized IDP decides to terminate an account or shut down the IDP service itself, user loses his identity, which also eliminates the user and service provider relationship. Think on that, just I wanted to use the mic, but then it's not working. Okay. Thank you. So as single centralized IDP controls everything, there simply is no ownership or method to manage my personal data. What exists is vulnerability and possibility of data exposure, which means that we need to shift from a centralized IDP model to decentralized identity model. So blockchain identity firms like us focus heavily on eliminating these security and consent issues of centralized IDP. We focus on providing total identity ownership back to the individuals, making a decentralized identity platform. And in doing so, we are trying to realize what was once known as a concept, the self-sovereign identity. Self-sovereign identity states that as individuals are roots and creators of our identity, we must have total control of our identity with high level of security and easy mobility. So first, as a decentralized identity, all the CRUD operations, which stands for create, read, update, and delete, and the use of ID must be controlled by the users. And to ensure high level of security and easy mobility, personal data won't be stored on a single IDP server or on a blockchain. Personal data will be stored securely on personal storage. And these personal data will be utilized securely through immutable public ledger technology combined with the DPKI algorithm. And the blockchain will be utilized to certify that such data belongs to such user, authentication of ownership. Once again, personal raw data are not stored on blockchain, but they are stored in personal storage. And only the hash value with the user's signature will be recorded on blockchain for service providers to refer to. And as users can disclose only the desired information they want to disclose, a self-sovereign identity, which was a concept, can be realized. So blockchain identity can fully replace the IDP service while offering security, portability, and consent, and ownership. And in doing so, most of the blockchain identity firms, they focus on digitizing government-issued IDs like passports. Digitizing government-issued IDs are important, but we believe identity is a bigger, broader, and deeper topic. Then what represents individuals? Government certified data like age, birthday, name, and address, which we call mundane identities, are things that represents us, and there's no doubt about that. But once again, identity is a broad topic. Rather than restricting ourselves to what we are defined, we should define who we are based on our actions and preferences, and we call these virtual identities. Virtual identities are non-certifiable data, but things that are still represents us. For example, the fact that I like soccer or I'm a meat lover. In games, if I like shooting games or RPG games, I'll be identified as someone that likes shooting games or RPG games. And if I'm a grandmaster at Battlegrounds, my online and offline gaming friends will define me as a grandmaster in Battlegrounds. You see, as our online activities are growing, these virtual identities are becoming more and more meaningful. But then there's no single way for individuals to own and manage these virtual identities. So at Metadium, we want individuals to own and manage these virtual identities. We want individuals to own and manage these virtual identities of not just in the gaming industry, but in the e-commerce or O2O services or in a P2P relationship. And as more and more users accumulate these virtual identities via MetaID, it will lead to creating a context network which makes blockchain identity more meaningful in everyday life. See, once again, although virtual identities are non-certifiable, the context network will provide a framework to determine individuals' attributes. Let's go for an example. If I say that I like soccer, I don't expect all of you to trust me, and there is no way for you guys to find out how much I love soccer. But then if my meta ID shows that I've been visiting different soccer stadiums wherever I travel, and at the same time I've been buying soccer goods from different online stores, the context network clearly provides a framework that I would really like soccer. So in order to do this, we use the claim and achievement mechanism. Claims are requested by users and issued by claim issuers like service providers or attestation agencies. Claims are data recorded on blockchain verified by claim issuers. And connected to claims to foster interaction between users and a service provider, we added a feature called achievement. Achievements are a reward mechanism triggered by a claim or set of claims. Achievements are also designed by service providers to incentivize users to do certain action or to incentivize users to fully experience their service. So let's go for an example for achievement and claim mechanism. Let's say Starbucks wants to incentivize users to order coffee on Tumblr to save the environment. So first, Starbucks will register a claim stating that they will issue an eco-friendly claim to customers that orders coffee using Tumblr like 10 times. And connected to claims, they will also register an achievement to reward customers to do certain action. And as customer orders coffee 10 times using a Tumblr, Starbucks will issue a eco-friendly claim, stating that this customer has been verified by Starbucks in working hard to save the environment by ordering coffee on Tumblr 10 times. Now, the possibility of achievement and claim mechanism goes even farther with marketplace or community DApps. Through the marketplace, Tumblr manufacturers can initiate target marketing. Or through the community DApps, certified people that are really into saving the environment can form a community. We chose this path because mundane data are limited. Instead, we have broadened the definition of virtual identity, as it is more important for individuals to accumulate these virtual identities to create a context network. So that, why gaming industry? First, their virtual IDs or game IDs are really important. Their gamers' gaming IDs represents their experience, skills, and preferences in the digital world. Second, gamers have already adopted the tokens. In-game golds and diamonds are used as method of payment to purchase in-game items. And third, gamers include a wide range of age group. Even the young ones without the government-issued ID can play the games. And it's these young ones that are really fast in adopting new technologies. Fourth, variety of efficient or fun achievement and claim mechanism can be designed. And fifth, your characters already represent you. So number 1 to 3 are pretty simple and straightforward. So why don't we go deeper about number 4 and number 5? So here's an example for achievement and claim mechanism for game publisher and game developer relationship. Let's say that I'm a game publisher that's about to release a new indie game, and I want to get a code review from a third party. First, I would register a claim stating that I will issue a claim to a developer who successfully runs a code review. And linked with the claim, I'll register an achievement to reward the developers. And to target the right developers, I'll put a filter on that. I only want to show this achievement to a developer with more than 5 claims related to this topic. And the developer who sees this achievement, and then if he decides to run the code review, he will register through the meta ID, and then he conducts the code review. And once submitted, the game publisher, in this case me, will review it, and if legit, I'll provide a reward and claim and the claim. Another relationship is between game publisher and a gamer relationship. Let's say a publisher of Galaga wants to incentivize users to beat the game because they have recently increased the difficulty. But they only want to incentivize the first 10 people that beats the game. The publisher of Galaga will go through the same procedure of registering claim and achievement. And the first 10 gamers that beats the game will receive the reward and the claim that states that they are master of Galaga. And these claims and achievement mechanism will become more meaningful with the community where gamers can gather and interact with each other based on claims from different games. And we call this the claim-based community. Through a blockchain game community partner that we'll be announcing, players will be able to find other players that are good in, let's say, shooting games and request for coaching. Or players can find other players that are at the same level of skills and form a team and play together. Also, we would like to say that your game characters also represent you. In fact, they are your properties. So with MetaID, everyone will be given an avatar. And we are also working on a bounty program to incentivize designers to create avatars. Also, we are talking with one of the major character companies to provide a wide range of characters users can select, buy, and trade. Also, our SDK will enable these game publishers and game developers to utilize users' avatars on their games. And we believe this will create a whole new experience as users will be able to play multiple games using their very own avatar they have selected, bought, or traded. So let's go for a little demonstration. Since we're not the games company, we decided to stick to the original, the Galaga. So this is the landing page of MetaID. You see his, this is Mr. Alpha's profile ID wallet, and then we see Alpaca, which he chose as his avatar. You see, to incentivize users to onboard a MetaID, we decided to incentivize users to, we created a mechanism where we can incentivize users to fill out their names and addresses and things that are necessary to use the service. And with the basic profile filled up, our users are ready to go. And login to different services can be simple as scanning a QR code. As we said, your characters also represent you, so why don't we play the Galaga with Alpaca and see what happens. You know, Alpaca is spitting something out of his mouth to beat the spaceships. And he dies. You see on the left, there is the achievement that states that if the user scores over 700, they'll be given 50 meta. To register your score, you simply scan the QR code once again. Now you see on the scoreboard, as the user, Mr. Alpha, scored over 700, he receives the reward for scoring over 700, 50 meta. So now you might be wondering, what are the D-game apps that are out there? Well, one example that I would like to share is MLB Crypto Baseball. MLB Crypto Baseball is a collectible D-game where the publisher combined the digital components with the old school tradition of being able to buy, sell, or trade cards. You know, if you also think about it, the traditional online collectible games their in-game collectible items do not have a value outside the game. But as a D game, gamers can collect, sell, or trade cards for a value. Also, MLB Crypto Baseball was also brilliant in reaching out to their customers. They gave out codes to download digital bubbleheads of 3 key players as an airdrop to 40,000 people that visited the Dodgers Stadium. You know, MLB Crypto Baseball, they introduced blockchain collectibles to the new audiences that were already in the audiences that were already into baseball cards. So then what's the D-gaming market like? According to the D-gaming industry report, in 2008, it is forecasted that the gamers will spend around $200 million on D-gaming. You know, this is a small value. It's only about a little more than 0.1% of the traditional gaming and gambling industry at the same year. But we have to know that this is the beginning, and the markets are growing super fast. In 2018, the gaming market had average growth for about 44% every 4 months. And it is expected that this growth will continue in 2019, making the total gaming market value to $480 million. So blockchain gaming market is small but promising. Well, where one killer DApp can create an avalanche of interest and push the industry to the mainstream. So if the reason why you have joined me today is because you are thinking of making a D game, I would like to say be fun, be friendly, but most importantly, be fast. As people in the blockchain industry are looking for the next CryptoKitties or the next MLB Crypto Baseball. And that's about it. Thank you.